Hello students, welcome to the third lecture of the chapter Halogen Derivatives. Let's begin today's lecture with the method of preparation of haloarenes or aryl halides. Only two methods are there which we'll discuss for preparing haloarenes. Number one is by electrophilic substitution of benzene or derivative of benzene, and number two is by Sandmeyer's reaction. Let's begin with the first method. Benzene on treatment with chlorine or bromine in presence of a suitable Lewis acid like anhydrous aluminium chloride undergoes electrophilic substitution reaction and forms aryl halide. Okay, so here we'll get chlorobenzene and HCl is formed as the byproduct. Similarly, if we have benzene and by doing the direct bromination of this benzene, again in presence of some suitable Lewis acid like iron in dark, it will undergo electrophilic substitution reaction resulting in the formation of bromobenzene. Now these are the reaction where benzene is undergoing what? Electrophilic substitution reaction. When we are substituting the halogen to benzene, we know that all the 6 carbon in benzenes are exactly same. So bromine is going to any carbon will make only one kind of product, that is bromobenzene. Okay. Now let's see what happens when we prepare the haloarenes from a monosubstituted benzene. Now let's take toluene. Toluene is monosubstituted benzene. If we want to do the halogenation of it, let's take Cl2. Again in presence of suitable Lewis acid, let's take anhydrous AlCl3. Now what we are going to get? Now you can observe there, now all the 6 carbon of benzene are not same. These 2 carbons can be termed as same carbon because they are at the same distance from the substituent which is attached to our benzene ring. These 2 carbons can be termed as the same carbon, and there is another carbon at this position. So how many types of carbons do we have now? We have 3 different types of carbon which are at 3 different positions from our substituent. Now monosubstituent benzenes, the substituent will have a directing influence on the coming group. Here alkyl group is our substituent, and these alkyl groups are ortho-para directing. It means they will direct the position of the coming group to ortho position and to para position. We know that the second position, both the second positions are ortho position, third position are para position, and this fourth position is third position is meta position, and this fourth position is your para position. Okay, so as methyl is ortho-para directing group, we are going to get the mixture of product which would be orthochlorobenzene plus para-chlorobenzene. Okay, and it is not benzene, actually it is orthochlorotoluene and para-chlorotoluene. So you are going to get the 2 isomers of the substituted chlorotoluene. The separation of these 2 isomers is easy because the melting point of the ortho and para groups are different, quite different, and they can be easily separated from each other. In this method of preparation, I have shown only direct chlorination, direct bromination of the benzene or substituted benzene, but I have not shown the iodination and fluorination. Why iodination is not discussed? Because the iodination of the benzene ring will give us the iodobenzene, with the production of hydroiodic acid, that is HI. HI is a very strong reducing agent, and it reduces back the product back into the form of its reactant form, okay, which we don't want. So we can say that iodination is not considered because the iodination reaction is reversible in nature. The next is fluorination. Why fluorination is not discussed? Because the fluorination is a very fast reaction. It is explosive. That's why fluorination of benzene is not discussed. Now let's move for the next reaction, which is our Sandmeyer reaction for preparing the aryl benzene. In this reaction, benzene diazonium salts are mixed with the chloride or bromide cuprous salt, that is salt of copper with chlorine or bromine. Now we require benzene diazonium salt. How do we make benzene diazonium salt? We make it by treating the aniline with nitrous acid, HNO2. As nitrous acid is not stable, it has to be prepared in situ, that is during the reaction in the reaction mixture by the action of sodium nitrate on HCl at around 273 Kelvin, that is at 0 degrees Celsius. When we prepare this, when we treat nitrous acid with aniline, we obtain the benzene diazonium salt, which is N triple bond N Cl. Here the N carries positive charge and this N2 carries positive charge and chlorine carries the negative charge. Okay, now this diazonium group, that is N2 plus group, is a very good leaving group. Okay, when we treat it with some suitable nucleophile, it easily get replaced and result in the formation of nucleophilic substituted product. Okay, so let's say we are here we want to substitute chlorine, so we take CuCl. Okay, on treatment with CuCl, N2 is removed and chlorine gets substituted there. Okay, nitrogen gas is a very good leaving group. If we want to prepare bromo benzene, we will take the salt of bromine with copper, that is cuprous bromide. Here copper is in +1 oxidation state. Okay, and we will get what? Bromobenzene. Similarly, if we want to prepare iodobenzene, what we will do? Again, we will take the benzene diazonium salt and we simply heat it or mixed it with potassium iodide. It results in the formation of iodobenzene and KCl is formed as the byproduct. Now let's see the physical properties of alkyl halides. Now I want you all to give good importance to this topic also, because sometimes the tricky questions are asked on the basis of the knowledge of your physical properties. Okay, so if you have understood it properly, you will be able to answer those. Okay, now some things are very basic, that lower members of these alkyl halides are gases and higher members are liquids and solids. Why lower members are gases and why higher become liquid and solid? The answer should be very obvious to you, that when the compound is having the lower members of compounds have smaller molecular formula, which indicates that the size of the molecules of that particular compound is small. When the sizes are small, the intermolecular forces between the molecule is also small. Understood? As these are organic compounds, what happens? The force with which these molecules are held together is generally the van der Waals forces, the London forces, dispersion forces. Okay, so if we have greater surface area for connecting them through the van der Waals forces, the intermolecular attraction increases. If the size of the molecule is small, it will have less surface area, and therefore they will have lesser interaction with other molecules, and they will be in the form of gases. Okay, as the sizes of the molecule goes on increasing, what happens? Their surface area goes on increasing, and the intermolecular forces between them also increases, resulting in more and more attraction, which results in the formation of liquid, or after that solid. Okay, so lower members of almost most of the organic compounds are gases, and as we move from lower members to higher members, they become liquid and then solid. Okay, now let's discuss something about the nature of molecular attraction. As alkyl halides are our what? Organic compound, they contain covalent bond, we know that. Now let's look into the bond between carbon and halogen. Okay, so wherever we find that carbon halogen bond, we know that halogens are electronegative in nature. As they are more electronegative than carbon, they pull the bonding pair towards itself and acquires a partial negative charge. Because of higher electronegativity, halogen will pull the electron pair towards itself. Because of that, it is just pulling it towards itself, it is not taking it away from carbon. Okay, so that's why the partial negative charge develops on halogen, and carbon will get what? A partial positive charge. Now this is a permanent effect which we will observe in all the haloalkanes. Okay, and because of this, all these haloalkanes becomes what? Moderately polar compound. Okay, it is not a pure covalent compound, but a moderately polar covalent compound. Okay, one more thing I want you to remember, that when we move from fluorine to chlorine, bromine and iodine, the electronegativity goes on decreasing. That is, for fluorine I think it is 4, for chlorine the electronegativity value is 3.5, for bromine it is 2.8, and for iodine it is 2.5. And what is the electronegativity of carbon? The electronegativity of carbon is also 2.5. Now with this knowledge, you should be able to know that all the carbon halogen bonds in haloalkanes are electronegative, polar, except for the carbon iodine bond. Okay, the carbon iodine bond will not be a polar covalent bond because the electronegativity of both are same. Understood? Now let's move towards the boiling point. Molecules with higher molecular masses generally will have higher boiling point. Why? Because due to the higher molecular mass and greater polarity, the intermolecular forces of attraction between the molecules will be more. Again, the same thing I am saying, whenever higher molecular mass is there, it means the molecule is bigger in size. If the molecule is bigger in size, it will have greater surface area for interaction with other molecules through the van der Waals forces. Okay, so as the molecular mass increases, the intermolecular forces also increases. When intermolecular forces are increases means what? The attraction between the molecules are good and they are held nicely with each other. Okay, therefore the boiling point goes on increases. Okay, so boiling point increases from lower alkyl halide to higher alkyl halide. Now if we consider the alkyl halide having same molar mass and we look into the different isomers of these alkyl halide, you will observe that straight chain alkyl halides will have higher boiling point. That is, the interaction between the straight chain alkyl halide will be greater than the branched alkynes. For example, let's take the example of bromobutane. Here you can see that in the first example I have taken the straight chain of primary bromobutane. Okay, here what happens, you will observe the boiling point is 375 Kelvin. For secondary bromobutane it is 364, and for tertiary it is 346 Kelvin. Okay, the boiling point is decreasing from as the branchings are increasing. Okay, why this is happening? When the branchings are there, the molecules become more compact, short in size, or you can say it becomes short and fat. And because of that, what happens? The surface area available for interaction with the surrounding molecule also decreases, and hence the intermolecular interaction decreases. Understood? So straight chain alkane will have the greater surface area than the branched alkanes, therefore they will have more interaction and their boiling point is greater than the branched alkanes. You can look into the example here. Another important property is solubility. As we know that haloalkanes are organic compound, they are readily soluble in organic solvent, but they are insoluble in water. One question may arise that as haloalkanes are moderately polar compound, they should be soluble in the polar solvent like water. So why it is not soluble in water, being a moderately polar compound? The reason is that in water, the water molecules are held together by strong intermolecular forces of attraction. Apart from the dipole-dipole interaction and van der Waals forces, there is hydrogen bonding that held the molecules together. The hydrogen bonding strength are greater in magnitude than the other kind of intermolecular forces of attraction. That's why alkyl halides are not able to break that hydrogen bonding between the water molecules and accommodate itself within the water molecule. Okay, the reason behind it is what? The water molecules are tightly held together due to the presence of hydrogen bonding, and alkyl halide is not able to accommodate itself within the water molecule by overcoming the force of attraction due to the hydrogen bonding between the water molecule. Understood? In the same way, aryl halides are also show the same behavior. They are soluble in inorganic solvent but insoluble in water. Now, if we have a di-substituted aryl halide like dichlorobenzene or dibromobenzene, we'll observe that the melting point of para isomers are quite high as compared to the ortho and meta isomer. This is because the para isomers have symmetrical structure and they can easily fit into each other to give a symmetrical lattice structure. That's why para isomers are more compactly packed and their melting point is higher than the meta and ortho isomer. Let's check the comprehension. The question is to arrange the following molecules in increasing order of their boiling point. Let's take the first example first. In the first example, we have trichloromethane, then chloromethane, dichloromethane and tetrachloromethane. In all these four molecules, the carbon are same, number of carbon is only 1, and halogens are also same. All have chlorine as halogen attached to it. Okay, so these are the derivative of methane. Now, boiling point of any substance mainly depends on its molar mass. Greater molar mass means higher boiling point and lower molar mass means lower boiling point. Now, we have to identify among these which will have the lower molar mass and which will have the higher molar mass. As chlorine is bulkier than carbon, if more chlorine is attached to the molecule, it means that molecule is heavier. Okay, so among these we can see that CH3Cl only have one chlorine, so this should have the lowest mass among all these four molecules. So we'll say that it will have the lowest molar mass and lowest boiling point. Then comes CH2Cl2. It have 2 chlorine, so it will have the greater molar mass as compared to monochloromethane, and its boiling point would be greater. Then comes what? Your trichloromethane, and in the last the highest boiling point will be of tetrachloromethane. So this is the increasing order. It will have greatest and it will go in this way. Now let's do the second example. Here we have ethyl bromide, ethyl iodide, methyl iodide, and methyl chloride. Okay, now we'll compare these. We'll find that we have two different types of alkyl groups and two different types of halogens attached here. Okay, so let's take the smaller one first. We have methyl chloride and methyl iodide. Both have 1 carbon and 1 halogen. But which halogen is bulkier, chlorine or iodine? Iodine is bulkier than chlorine. So out of these two, CH3Cl will have the lower boiling point because it is smaller in size and will have low molar mass. Then we'll have CH3I because iodine is bigger than chlorine. Its molar mass is more, so its boiling point will also be more. Then out of these two, bromoethane and iodoethane will have, next will be bromoethane because among iodine and bromine, bromine is smaller in size, ethyl groups are same, so it will not make any difference. So ethyl, bromoethane, and in last we'll have iodoethane. Okay, so this is how we arrange the molecules in order of their increasing boiling point. Hope you all have understood the physical properties nicely. Okay, so today we'll finish only here. Okay, Allah Hafiz.